You're watching News Central now on News Central Television. I am Lekon Onobanjo. The top stories at this hour. As Nigerians mark Armed Forces Remembrance Day, reps seek better incentives for servicemen and women. President Tinubu appoints Folashade Adekaiyaoja as first female Deputy Director General for the Department of State Service. More bodies recovered in South Africa gold mine as rescue operations for trapped illegal miners continue. The details to come your way shortly. Let's start by telling you that President Bola Tinubu has appointed Folashade Adekaiyaoja as Deputy Director General of the Department of State Services, DSS. Sources say Folashade's nomination and approval is unprecedented in the history of the DSS and as part of the reforms being implemented at the Secret Service. The DSS is structured to have 3 Deputy Directors General, and her appointment is reportedly seen as a significant boost to efficiency in the organization at a time when the government is looking for better ways to tackle the country's security challenges. Away from that, we tell you that premium motor spirit, also known as petrol, would likely cost more as depot owners have increased prices by about 4.74%. This follows the recent increase of crude oil prices, including Nigeria's Bonny Light, to $80 per barrel this week from $73 per barrel last week. Already, some depots, including Swift Depot, have increased their loading prices to 950 naira per litre from 907 naira per litre, while Rosebab Depot also increased its price to 950 naira per litre from 909 naira per litre. Similarly, Sahara Depot increased its price to 950 naira per litre from 910 naira per litre, while Shell Plugs increased its loading price to 960 naira per litre from 908 naira per litre. Let's now take these reactions as, of course, this has continued to trail the impeachment of the Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, Mudashiru Obasa. In this special report, News Central's Sagir Ibrahim visits Agege, the stronghold of the former Speaker, to hear from residents about Obasa's indictment.
Shiru Obasa, who is serving his 4th term as a lawmaker, was removed from office on charges of abuse of power and gross misconduct. However, many speculate that his impeachment stems from a deepening rift with the Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu.
That is what is so that he reap. To me, he's not a good person. Imagine a speaker ridiculing a sitting governor. Look at what he did on the budget presentation. That day I know that he's going. You keep the governors waiting. You keep the leadership waiting. You keep the invitees waiting. And when you came in a black glass.
Yes, there is division in terms of the governance. There have to be the legislative and executive. But then there has to be mutual regard and respect.
I'm here standing in Oluwole Olaniyan Street. This, according to some, is sacred ground, as this is the ground zero of the mandate movement. As behind me right now is the constituency office of Right Honorable Mudashiru Obasa, who was impeached controversially on Monday the 12th. Now, attempt to speak with residents, within the community to get their reactions on what happened on Monday has proven abortive. However, we are hoping that they would speak to us subsequently.
Obasa is a man of the people. I don't have anything to say too much. Because all this thing, Jesus Christ, see this kind of thing. I know see this kind of thing. There's no way this kind of thing will not happen.
Obasa has been doing many things to aggregate youth, widows, you understand? And when something like this happens, we need prayer for our Oga.
I was shattered, to say the least, because this is a man that I not only respect, that I follow.
It is more like a blessing and a curse for Agege. Having the speaker, because having the speaker has brought a lot of this development, infrastructural development. On the other hand, politically, like I do tell people, those who joined politics 5-6 years ago would think that is the normal way it is done. You know, somebody sitting somewhere and just saying this is the person that should be in position without considering how others will feel.
The impeachment marks a significant blow to Obasa's supporters and his political base. Meanwhile, opposition voices appear to be leveraging the situation, with signs of political realignment emerging at the constituency level.
The structure is already dismantled. You see people following before, not all of them that loves him. A lot of meetings has been going on. To fine-tune everything, a lot of meetings have been going on in order to bring Agege back to its normal shape.
It's going to cost a lot of realignment in Agege politics. I can categorically say that there has not been APC in Agege for some time. We have Obasa movement, and that has been the movement that has been representing APC.
What lessons can be drawn from the former speaker's fall from grace?
Power is transient, and whether being removed or you finish your tenure, it's just so that there's no position you hold that will not end.
In a related development, the new speaker, Mojisola Miranda, visited the governor's office in Marina earlier on Tuesday. She said her visit alongside other members was to brief the Governor's Advisory Council on the recent leadership changes within the Lagos State House of Assembly. In the Agege area of Lagos State, Sagir Ibrahim for News Central.
And I'll tell you that First Bank of Nigeria Limited has refuted claims of abusing court processes in its legal disputes with General Hydrocarbons Limited. The bank said it had fulfilled its loan obligations, but faced resistance when it demanded governance and transparency from JHL. The Federal High Court in Lagos has frozen assets worth $225.8 million linked to Nduka Obaidbena, Efe Damilola Obaidbena, Olabisi Eka Obaidbena, and GHL. However, JHL said it has secured a separate court order safeguarding its operations. Meanwhile, the management of General Hydrocarbons Limited, JHL, has responded to what is described as misinformation or inaccurate information allegedly put out by First Bank on the matter with JHL. According to General Hydrocarbons Limited, First Bank keeps talking about diversion of funds by JHL without providing any evidence. JHL said if the First Bank of Nigeria was so sure of its facts, why not put JHL on notice by an ex parte? General Hydrocarbons said, contrary to First Bank of Nigeria's claims, it sought to appoint an independent asset manager to promote corporate governance. JHL also said that the First Bank sought to do was to appoint a company that it can fire at any time to take over JHL's business, offices and operations within 90 days of further disbursement. JHL said it refused and counter-offered a joint operating committee with First Bank, and they refused, resulting in the current impasse. Away from that, the Rivers State High Court has nullified the congresses conducted by the People's Democratic Party in the state in 2024. The court also restrained the State Executive Committee of the PDP from overseeing the affairs of the party and barred Aaron Chukwuemeka from parading himself as the chairman. Stephen Jumbo, the presiding judge, gave the order while ruling on an interlocutory injunction filed by Edwin Woko and Love Otuonye, who are both lawyers, and 2 other PDP members. The suit was instituted against Chukwuemeka and 9 others. The petitioners asked the court to declare the local government and ward congresses of the party held in 2024 as null and void. And now to security matters. Eyewitnesses in Kakindawa, Gidangoga community located in the Maradu local government area of Zamfara State say over 16 persons reportedly lost their lives following an airstrike by the Nigerian Air Force, with many still missing. They also said about 9 confirmed to be injured have been discharged from the hospital, with 1 still in critical condition. Meanwhile, the state government has gifted the sum of 500,000 naira to each of the victims injured during the recent Air Force bombing at Zurmi and Maradun local government areas of the state. Governor Dauda Lawal made this known while paying a condolence visit to the affected victims of the airstrikes. Meanwhile, airstrikes by Nigerian Air Force intended to target armed groups such as Boko Haram, ISWAP, Ansaru, Lakurawa, and bandits have caused harm to civilians and their properties. The frequency of these mishaps, along with the increasing civilian casualties, raise questions about the factors driving the incidents and whether they are genuinely accidental or incidental. In other ways, the Nigerian Army claims that airstrikes on civilian populations were mere accidents or mistakes.
Over the years, Nigeria has recorded several accidental airstrikes by the military, killing residents across the country. A report titled Air Force Mishaps by SBM Intelligence, a research organization that compiles and analyzes data about happenings in the country, revealed that over 425 civilians were killed in accidental airstrikes by the Nigerian Air Force since September 2017. SBM said the airstrikes happened while the Nigerian Air Force was going after terrorists. The report lamented that mishaps had increased and that no compensation had been paid to victims' families. It added that Niger, Yobe, Zamfara, Borno, Nasarawa, Kaduna, and Katsina are the worst hit states in the country. On January 17, 2017, about 52 people were killed, while 120 others sustained injuries in an accidental airstrike on an internally displaced persons IDP camp in Ran, Borno State. On April 13, 2020, 17 people, including children, were killed after a Nigerian Air Force fighter jet bombed Sarakuru village in Damboa, Borno State. In April 2022, a Nigerian Air Force fighter jet reportedly killed 6 children when it fired a bomb targeted at terrorists in Shiroro local government area of Niger State. Also in June 2022, 13 residents were injured while 1 other died after a Nigerian Air Force fighter jet struck Kunkuma village in the Shafana local government area of Katsina State. In January 2023, 37 people were reportedly killed after a bomb exploded at the border linking Benue and Nasarawa states. In December 2023, more than 80 civilians were reportedly killed during a religious gathering in Kaduna State. Nigeria's military often conducts air raids against terrorists. These air raids have ended up killing some 400 civilians since 2017, according to Lagos-based SBM Intelligence. This development has, however, triggered both local and international outrage. Villagers and other residents of the affected communities have said they were not terrorists, but law-abiding Nigerians.
We now go on a short break. When we return, the Chief of Defense Staff says terrorists receive foreign funds to continue destabilization process. We'll bring you details after the short timeout. Join us again. Many thanks for staying with us. We'll now tell you that the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, has alleged that terrorist groups operating in Nigeria are receiving foreign funding to sustain their destabilization agenda. Musa said some surrendered terrorists, as well as those apprehended by troops, were found in possession of foreign currency. He emphasized the need for a more proactive and strategic approach to addressing security challenges across the country. Meanwhile, the High Command of the Nigerian military has honored outstanding officers who have made exceptional contributions to the successes achieved so far, particularly in the ongoing fight against terrorism, banditry, kidnapping, and other emerging security threats. We now head to Kokolada community in Nasarawa State, where relatives and friends of Salome Adaidu are still reeling in shock over news of her beheading. 24-year-old Salome was decapitated, allegedly by Timileyin Ajayi, a man reported to be her boyfriend. Condolences have been pouring in on social media across the country for Salome and her family, as the family demands justice and an update on the case from the police. News Central's Amadinui has been covering the story and has the latest.
24-year-old Salome Adaidu a 7-youth corper with the National Youth Service Corps in Abuja, was hoping to finish our 1-year mandatory service in March. However, on Sunday, January the 15th, a severed head of Salome was found with TikToker Timi Ajayi. Her sister says the news of her death is still hard to believe.
Someone called me on the road that my sister is in Uke. We're not like, okay, what is she doing there? Please, is there any information? Sir, please, can you give me any information about my sister? The man was like, no, he cannot give me any information about my sister. I have to come to the General Hospital in Uke to come and meet my sister. I said, okay, I'm coming. When I got to Uke, I saw my sister dismembered on the floor. My sister, they told us to come and identify the body. We came, we saw my sister lying down on the floor, her hand, her legs, everything separated from her body. We now asked what happened. They now said a guy, her boyfriend, picked her up. Her boyfriend killed her in his house and was taking her head, only the head, to Nasarawa State.
News Central tried to locate the residence of the suspected ritual murderer to hear firsthand what happened and to get to speak to those who had met him one-on-one before the incident. Some say the episode remains a shock.
We got to see that there are some parts of human being in a sack, backo bag, 7 backo bag. The bones different, the flesh different, the head different. They cut it like 2 places here, divided it everywhere. So that was all right. We saw on Sunday in this here in Papua. Right now, many people are scared.
I never see a man with this guy. It's different girls every day. Sometimes when we sit down, I see they ask some bar people, say me them find girl for them. I hear them with my ear when we dey for bar. So you normally deal with girls. This is what I know. You normally deal with girls. I never see them with a man for my lifestyle.
In the whole Papalana, the morale of people is that people are mourning. People are mourning in this community because it's just like even worse than a dream. It's what people could not believe.
The family of Salome, however, expressed displeasure at the way and manner the police have handled the case.
We are not satisfied with what the Nigerian police are doing just yet. I am not satisfied. I don't think anybody here is satisfied. They've not asked the family to write statements. They've not told the family anything about the guy, what he does, where he picked her from. I think these are basic questions that need to be asked.
All we just know is that we need to know information about my sister and we need justice.
While the Nasarawa State Police Command are yet to speak on the matter, the family of Salome are calling for justice for their daughter. In Abuja for News Central, I am Amadine Uyi.
Away from that to stories around accidents, 2 medical doctors working with the Sokoto Specialist Hospital and 4 of their friends have lost their lives in a road accident along the Bodinga-Yabo road. Doctors Chika and Abubakar Shehu, along with their friends, were traveling to Kebbi State when their car collided with an upcoming truck. The Chief Medical Director of Sokoto Specialist Hospital, Attahiru Isa, confirmed the incident. He said the deceased were attached to units that served a large number of patients and were dedicated to their work until their untimely demise. We also tell you that students of Comprehensive Senior Secondary School in Diwo, Itumbuzo, Benda local government area of Abia State, are now without classrooms due to a fire outbreak. The fire engulfed the block housing the senior classes of the only community secondary school in the area on Sunday. News Central's Chinwe Ogele tells us more in this report. We'll bring you details of that in our subsequent bulletins. Let's now tell you that the 23rd Chief SL Edu Memorial Lecture was held on Tuesday, bringing together key stakeholders to address the pressing need for sustainable development across Africa, themed Greening Africa's Economies. The lecture underscored the critical role of environmental sustainability in shaping the continent's future growth and economic prosperity. News Central's Bettina Nweli reports.
policymakers, business leaders, environmental experts and academics convened to explore innovative ways to embed green practices into Africa's rapidly expanding economies. The lecture, established in honor of the late Chief S.L. Edu, a prominent advocate for African leadership and sustainable development, was delivered by Professor Yemi Oshibajo, former Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
A recent study, and we were talking about this just before we came down, shows that sea level rise is expected to impact major African coastal cities, including Dar es Salaam, Lagos, Cotonou, Porto Novo, Cairo, and Alexandria. But the climate crisis is not Africa's only existential challenge. I think it's important to always emphasize this, that for Africa it's not just the climate crisis, it is also extreme poverty. And of course, this includes unemployment, food insecurity, severe infrastructure deficits, and of particular importance, something that the experts will describe as energy poverty.
Key discussions centered on practical strategies to scale up renewable energy production, promote sustainable agriculture, and invest in eco-friendly industries. Experts highlighted the urgency of adopting green policies to mitigate climate change while fostering job creation in green sectors.
The progress that the world is making is far too slow to meet our net zero objectives. But perhaps more importantly, it has become even evident that if African countries were to develop along the same carbon-intensive pathways of developed economies, that is to say that if African countries were to burn fossil fuels for industry and transport in the same way that the wealthier countries of the world have developed, then it will be impossible for the world to attain net zero by 2050 or any kind of decent targets, because Africa will then be adding 9.4 gigatons of CO2e annually until 2050.
We are below the sea level. So people don't understand when some of us insist that you can't build on a channel path for water. I've had people threatening me from the whole of the mainland and discharge into the lagoon, from Oba, through Maryland, Ikeja, through Ariwo Jobe, down to the lagoon. And you chose to build on it and narrow that path. That is why Mende village was always getting flooded.
Experts also called for stronger collaboration among governments, the private sector, and the civil society to make Africa's economies more resilient to environmental challenges and unlock opportunities within the green economy. In Lagos, for News Central, I'm Bettina Nwili.
Earlier on the news, we told you that students of Comprehensive Senior Secondary School in Diwo in Tubuzo, Bende local government area of Abia State, are now without classrooms due to a fire outbreak. Chumi Ogele now brings us the details of that report.
The students were meant to return to school on Monday, being the resumption date for the state. But then today, not many of them are in school because they have nowhere to stay and receive lessons.
I feel very sad because there's no any other place that we can stay and learn.
This fire incident is the second within 1 week in Abia State. The Comprehensive Senior Secondary School is the only that serves about 3 communities, making it difficult for the students to have a nearby alternative. The inferno of last Sunday has destroyed the senior secondary, as a staff who witnessed the raging fire explains.
When I came here, the fire was on top of this roof. So it was at that point, and some people who were here, who arrived here earlier, they couldn't do anything because the classroom were locked. So it was when I came in and I asked them to break the classroom, and then that was how we managed to bring out some of these decks.
To make sure the students are kept in school, the principal says they have provided a space for them pending the renovation of the building.
We have another classroom over there, and it's not all that good because it has a leaking roof. That was why we removed them from that very place. So we are also going to shift them to that very place to manage for now.
The chairman of Bende local government area says the council will liaise with the community to find a better arrangement for the children.
We need to come as a community first and then see the quick action that we can take to make these students go into the class. Because government has procedure of returning. You write a proposal and then it may take a longer time and we can't wait while our children are outside.
The community is equally appealing to the state government to come to its aid.
Right now, I don't think the community can handle that project by themselves, but I think with the help of the government, we'll be able to, leverage and then do something.
The schools are resumed, and the students, some of them are here. The senior classes, they don't have a place to stay.
The state government will need to come in here to fix the destroyed classroom blocks in order to allow the children return to their classrooms and take lessons. In Itumbuzo for News Central, I am Chinwe Ugele.
Away from that to a commemorative day, the House of Representatives has called for the provision of scholarships and free medical services, including priority attention for the children and families of the nation's servicemen and women. Lawmakers say there is a need to honor the sacrifices of Nigeria's armed forces as they strive to protect the nation. News Central's correspondent, Idong Joseph, reports.
It is the first plenary session of the year 2025, following the Christmas and New Year festivities. The session, chaired by the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, began with announcements and the laying of petitions, then followed by a motion of urgent national importance, with a focus on honoring the sacrifices of the nation's servicemen and women.
The House is aware that the Armed Forces of Nigeria, comprising the Nigerian Army, Nigerian Navy, Nigerian Air Force, have demonstrated unparalleled dedication, bravery, and professionalism in combating various forms of insecurity across the country.
Lawmakers urged the federal government to maintain its support for the armed forces through increased funding and budgetary provisions.
As strategic as the armed forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is, for us, the related committee chairman, to have some to develop further capacity in subjecting the armed forces to account for taxpayers' money.
They also called for special recognition to deserving servicemen and women, priority consideration given to their families.
When I was in the service in US, if you receive a certificate, a well-done certificate, congratulations or thank you from the, let's say from the National Assembly, and we are giving it to them the best Officer of the Year in the Army, in the Navy, in the Air Force, the best Junior Officer of the Year in the Navy, in the Air Force, in the Army. Sometimes they hold it up to the standard.
And I speak from the point of increasing the welfare of Nigerian armed forces to include aftercare and welfare of the people they've left behind.
We have debated enough on this, so I'll just put a question. Those in support of the motion moved by Honorable Babajimi Benson say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. I think we should do more for the armed forces.
In addition to honoring both living and deceased members of the armed forces, lawmakers emphasized the importance of recognizing the sacrifices made by members of the nation's military. In Abuja for News Central, I am Idong Joseph.
Coming up on the news. Malians mark the National Day of Regained Sovereignty. We'll bring you the details in a short while. Don't go away. Well, before we touch down in Mali, let's turn our attention to a pressing issue in South Africa, where the rescue operations of illegal miners who have been trapped for months is underway. During a recent visit to Stilfontein Mine, Minister of Police Senzo Mchunu said illegal mining is having severe repercussions on the economy. Chuno highlighted that illegal mining not only threatens the safety and lives of those involved, but also drains millions from the economy. With the industrial sector struggling to recover, he made a strong plea for the enforcement of strict measures to combat this growing crisis. Our News Central correspondent, Bongani Siziba, is on ground, and we'll cross over to her to bring us more details. Bongani, good morning to you. What updates do you have for us?
Good morning, Likon, and also good morning to our viewers. We are back here at Stilfontein Mine, where the rescue team has started already to try and rescue as many illegal miners as they can. As of last night, we know that we had 132 illegal miners that they were able to rescue for the past 2 days, and today is the third day, and we also had 60 bodies that they managed to retrieve from there. But as I'm looking at the sky now, the clouds are starting to form. That means that we might be having rains anytime soon, but which means that will also slow the process here, because once it starts raining, it's an open space, which means those that are rescuing will also seek for shelter, or rather those rains will also make them not to be able to do their job very well. But yesterday we also saw the Minister of Minerals and Minister of Police coming over here just to have that site to see what's going on. And we know that all those that were arrested, they've been charged by the nut joint. They are facing illegal mining charges, trespassing, and contravention of Migration Act. We know that most of them are illegal foreigners who are here in South Africa illegally, so they have been charged, all of them that were rescued alive. So we are still here in Stilfontein, Likon, just following the proceedings rather to see how many they'll be able to rescue today. I was speaking also to some of the volunteers who volunteered to go down there, who were saying that there are still many miners who are still alive underground, and bodies that are still there. So it's still a long way for this rescue team to try and make sure that within the stipulated 10 days they are able to retrieve all the bodies and also rescue all the miners that are down the shaft 11.
Okay, so Bongani, of course you said it's the operation is about 10 days given max, but then how cooperative are the people within that vicinity? How have they been cooperative with this particular rescue operation? And of course the miners who are equally trapped, have they also been complying with the rescue operations?
Yes, we were speaking also to the community members, those that have been here from day one, and they have been having problems with the police, but as of the past 2 days, they said that the police is cooperating well with them, so they are all working in one accord. We know that in December there was allegations that the police were not allowing volunteers and community members to come close to the mine or help in any rescue mission, but now that has been sorted out. Speaking about the miners that are underground, like I said, that I had an opportunity to speak to one of the volunteers who is going down the mine with the cage. He had an opportunity also to speak with these miners that are down there. They really want to be rescued, and he was even telling me that they were fighting to go inside that cage so that they could be rescued. But we know that there were also allegations that these miners, they don't want to come out, with the Minister of Police also saying that they should come out the same way that they went in. But we know now that because of starvation, they don't have the energy to climb up that shaft 11 and come out. So these miners who are down there are willing to come out, and we have seen many of them coming out and are very eager to be rescued.
Okay, before I let you go, Bongani, seeing that illegal mining in South Africa is actually dealing a big blow to the country's economy, what are the authorities saying they will do now to discourage people from going into that illicit trade?
Lincoln, just to give you a little bit of background, there are hundreds of illegal miners in South Africa, especially in this northern area, and also around Johannesburg. That is what the government is trying to do, to close those mines down, to try and curb illegal mining. But I don't think that it will be a one-day job for the government to be able to close down those mines, because when we talk about closing those mines, it's just a matter of putting sand on them. So these illegal miners can also still come back and go in there and continue with this mining. But the government, like the minister said yesterday, that...
Well, I guess that's the much we can take from Bongane Siziba, who is actually bringing us live updates as regards the rescue operation in Stilfontein, South Africa. But then let's quickly take a listen at the package put together by Bongane Siziba to have a clear picture of the situation in Stilfontein.
Where do these products go? Where these products go is the subject of our investigation. Via various components in police. We are as interested as everybody is, not only where it will go, but where it has been going, where it's going, and what are the volumes, and who are the people involved. Those investigations are underway because we're interested in getting to know, get to the bottom in terms of the end. What is the high end or the low end of whatever gets mined here, minding that it is all illicit and it's robbing South Africa and the government of South Africa of, a lot of money. Minister Mantashe can speak better about what we are losing. All we know is that there is something that is illegal that is happening here. It's illegal.
Away from South Africa, we tell you that Malians mark the National Day of Regained Sovereignty, commemorating the country's resistance against international sanctions imposed on January 14, 2022. This annual celebration was instituted by the ruling junta after the coup d'etat in 2022. Minister of Refoundation, Bakary Traoré, emphasized the Malian people's unwavering commitment to asserting their independence and sovereignty despite facing a complex and sometimes hostile international context. The celebration honors Mali's achievements in restoring territorial integrity and independence, as well as the unity and determination of its people. This year's theme focuses on culture as a factor of national unity and patriotic spirit.
Nous célébrons ensemble l'engagement indéfectible des plus hautes autorités et de l'ensemble du peuple malien à affirmer l'indépendance et la souveraineté du Mali, ce malgré un contexte international complexe et parfois hostile.
Talking business now, the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission has completed the transfer of regulatory oversight to Enugu, Ekiti, Ondo, and Imo states, granting them full control over their electricity markets. This move follows the 2023 Electricity Act, which restructured the Nigerian electricity supply industry. NERC has also begun transitioning oversight to 6 other states, namely Oyo, Edo, Kogi, Lagos, Ogun, and Niger, with completion expected in 2025. The changes have adjusted pre-existing structures in Enugu, Benin, and Ibadan discos. These developments mark a shift towards localized electricity regulation, enhancing state-level governance and responsiveness to regional energy needs. Talking sport, we tell you that the 2024 African Nations Championship has been postponed to August 2025. According to CAF officials, the tournaments set to be jointly hosted by Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda need more preparation time. while the host nations have made substantial progress on stadiums, training facilities and other infrastructure. Technical experts say additional time is required to meet tournament standards. Meanwhile, the championship draw will proceed as planned, taking place on Wednesday in Nairobi. CAF officials will announce the exact tournament date in the coming months. Meanwhile, the 2024-2025 Nigeria Women's Football League kicks off on Wednesday with an exciting matchup between reigning champions Edo Queens and Abia Angels. Edo Queens are entering the season with momentum, having clinched their first league title in May and recently finishing fourth in the CAF Women's Champions League in Morocco. 8 matches are scheduled across 2 groups today. In Group A, Confluence Queens face Remo Stars Ladies, while Group B features a heavyweight clash between former champions Bayelsa Queens and Delta Queens. And that's all at this hour, but before we go, we look at our top stories again. As Nigerians mark Armed Forces Remembrance Day, reps seek better incentives for servicemen and women. President Tinubu appoints Folashade Adekaiyaoja as first female Deputy Director General for the Department of State Service. We also told you that more bodies are recovered in South Africa gold mine as rescue operations for trapped illegal miners continue. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, Star Times channel 274, Evo TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I am Lekon on Obanjo.